going on today, guys? It's a new NHL game, which means we got new goalies coming into the game, and people are looking for what builds to use and how to play goalie. Goalie's not easy for people to pick up, it seems, especially in the 3v3 mode where you're having to make a lot of one-time saves and cross-crease saves. But it's not that difficult, guys. I think when you learn the right builds and learn how to stay calm in the crease, that it's going to be a lot easier. So let's get into it here. Alright, guys, so let's start off in the settings here. First setting that I find very important, it's hard to make a save if you can't see where your goalie's at. So I like to start my goalie camera in fixed. I find this angle to be the most useful to me. There's another camera angle that I'll be showing you here soon, but it's really between these two, guys. You want to use one of these two angles, but this one I like because I can see the action going on behind the net and kind of get a lot better feel for where everyone is on the ice. It really helps me see just everything going on here, and no one's kind of hiding, especially in the threes mode. This helps because you have a lot of guys who are just lurking around trying to find easy one-timers, and you want to be able to see everything going on. The other camera that we can use is the high camera. This one's a lot better, I think, though, for beginners, because you could really see how your goalie's positioned, and it helps you set up your angles a lot better, just to get set up on blocking the puck. As you can see, it's a lot more in the action, which makes it easier for beginners because they can see exactly where their goalie is lined up. Fixed camera can be a little harder to tell your angles, but I'm telling you, once you get used to it, that camera is my favorite, just because I can see everything going on. Like right there, I had a guy leaking to the left. I couldn't see him at all. Alright, next most important thing, guys. There's this one big setting right here that I'm on, tether. Make sure that is off. That is one of the worst settings that they've added here. I don't know why they haven't removed it by now, but tether will just mess you up. I promise. It's way easier to have it off than to have it on hybrid or on. Other thing I like to have on is hug post to manual. I like to control when my goalie is going to hug the post, and I only hug the post when they're behind the net. Anywhere else, I'm standing straight up or in the butterfly. Hugging the post can be a little grabby sometimes when you're coming off of it, so I prefer to have that on manual. Human goalie covers I will have on auto. I'm fine with that, always have been. It seems to be very reliable, and it's one less button thing you have to worry about when you're scrambling to try and get the puck. Alright, guys, we're going to cover goalie controls here. Obviously, left stick is to move. R2 right here, or RT on Xbox, is your butterfly. Okay? LT. This is the reactionary saves. I don't encourage this, especially for beginners. You'll see in the build video, I just find those attribute points are better suited in other areas. The reactionary saves, you're kind of gambling here. You're trying to pick which side of the net they'll shoot to. So, I mean, you could use this to bait, but if you get it wrong, your goalie is a very delayed reaction. And typically, I find it hurts more than it helps. I mean, right here, I couldn't even get him to shoot to that side. I'm trying to get him to shoot that way. But ultimately, guys, positioning is what's going to matter most. We have the square buttons. So the square, you have the dive right here. If you hold square or X on Xbox and hold the stick to the left or to the right. Then you have your stack pads, which is if you hold circle or B on Xbox and you hold the stick to the left or the right. I don't use these much, guys. I prefer to play straight up and try and attack the skater. You'll pick up on that most of the time, that I play very straight up most of the times, and it tends to help. If you hold down on the right stick, you'll go in your spread eagle. This move does help. If you are just beat, he gets past you, spread eagle, best friend. You can always get a random kick save. Next, we have the right stick slides. Okay, post slides. This is very helpful. I find this very, very helpful. You can get from post to post real fast, especially if you have the X Factor post to post, which I think is the best X Factor in the game. You can really cover a lot of ground on those one-timers fast and cross creases. It really helps you get to the other side and make that save. Can it hurt you if you fall for a fake pass or anything? Yes, but I think right stick is very useful, guys. Next button, which I'll show after this. The X button is your free skate button. So if there's a puck that gets passed deep in the zone, you can come behind the net and play it. Or if there's a puck short, you can come up and play it. I typically will only go for the pucks behind the net. Anything in front, I'm leaving. I've been burned one too many times where I think I could get to it, and then, oh no, he got to it, and I'm retreating, and I look like an idiot, not being the goalie that plays the goal. Last button, square and up. This is your flying poke check. This is a shootout savior. I'm telling you, in shootouts, this helps so much. Your goalie tends to get out there and get a stick on it somehow most of the time. I don't know how, but guys, if you're ever in doubt and you're retreating, you're like, I don't even know where to commit. Commit a little to this side so that your goalie stick is playing the majority of the side. Hit squaring up, and it really, at that point, I think is a 60-40. And I'm taking those odds at a shootout every time. Alright guys, we're going to start with the 3v3 situations and kind of how I like to play them. 3v3, you got to be a lot more anticipatory. They're looking for one-timers, and they don't really play straight up too often. There's a lot of fast breaks. You see a lot of one-on-ones to even 2-on-0 to 3-on-0. But you just have to be able to anticipate where the shot is going to come from. If you only play goalie, I suggest to play skater, because then you can start thinking how a skater would think and where they want to fit in, what they're looking for. Oftentimes, guys, it's that one-timer. But that's insane what he just did. But you want to, again, just take away the shot first is what I always tell my team. Let them play the pass. If the pass gets through, a lot has to go right for them, because they have to settle the puck and shoot the puck if it's not a one-timer. And hopefully by then you can get over. But you have to play shot first, or else people will pick up on that and you'll get beat short side every time. But you can see here, I like to get a little more aggressive. And one big thing, butterfly is not your friend when they're at the blue line. If you're in a butterfly here, it's a lot harder to make those top shelf saves. I like to stand until that puck is what I see about to be shot at a close angle. If it's far from out, I'm staying standing just because the goalie will react to it. But you can see I am just tracking the movements, And then we'll get into some rush situations here and talk about the right stick, which I think the right stick, personally, that is a huge feature that a lot of people say not to use, but I actually prefer using the right stick on a lot of rushes. I don't like trying to move left to right because I just can't move fast enough. And when you run the ability post to post, thank you, post, when you run the ability post to post, it seems that you get to those a lot more often. Post to post, guys, is going to be one of the best abilities. It always is every year. It helps with one-timers, helps with cross creases, helps if you get beat. You get beat and you got to recover quick. Right stick's your friend. Alright, last thing we're going to cover here, guys, is positioning. Especially in the 5v5 sense, positioning is everything. They didn't turn it over so early. But you want to try and play up a little more in the 5v5s. There's a lot of junk in the way, so you gotta really be conscious of where the puck is bouncing. Another reason I like this fixed camera view. Stay up in the zone and try and really mirror wherever the puck is going. You don't have to worry about the cross creases and one-timers as bad in 5v5. You're more worried about the shot on net and rebounds. Rebounds and tips, I find, are the most common shots that they're working for in 5v5. If they get the one-timer, just going to have to give that up, guys. You got 5 defenders on the ice. Hopefully one of them can get to it in time and cover their man. But as you can see, I'm playing really far up in the crease here in 5v5. Other thing with the tips, the further up you play, the more net you're taking up for those tip shots. And hopefully you just get some of your body on it. Alright guys, so we're going to cover the goalie build here. You want to be max height, minimum weight. This has worked really well in the past, and so far in 26, I'm finding this helps a lot as well, too. You just want to cover up as much net as possible while being as fast as possible in the net. Here you can see our attributes. 90 is the threshold that you really need to meet for your saves. 5-hole, I don't care as much about, because if I'm predicting a 5-hole shot, I'm just going to hit R2 and drop into the butterfly. Most of the time, though, they're trying to snipe corners, so I really like to play glove low, glove high, stick high. You can see passing, guys, doesn't matter on a goalie. You're making a 2-foot pass, maybe, most of the time. Does not matter. Speed, okay? Speed is very important for the cross creases. Post to post is going to help you get across, but speed and agility as well will help you get turning faster in the net and jumping from side to side. Over here in positioning, vision is the most important thing in positioning, followed by recovery, followed by breakaway, and then I'd say rebound control. Rebound control doesn't really do much, guys. Angles does nothing as long as you don't use the L2 prediction. I never use that. Again, I suggest you don't. But you want to max out your vision, guys, because if people are staying in front of the net trying to get a tip, your goalie's going to have slower reactions on even normal shots if they don't tip it. I like to have the most vision. This gives me, I feel, the best chance of making the save. Rebound control, again, doesn't do much, but it helps at the end of the day. Breakaway helps a lot, I find, actually, to have it up this high. Not as high as recovery, though. Recovery is huge, especially when you get tired. Okay, durability and endurance here, very important, because you're going to have some teams that just do not get out of the zone, and your team just cannot get them out, and your goalie's going to be tired and making these desperation saves. Recovery helps get your goalie up faster from those desperation saves. Okay, X factors, guys. Post to post, run it on elite as soon as you unlock it. This is the best X factor in the game for goalies. This is going to save your butt so much. It's not even funny. I make so many cross-crease saves with this, and I make saves that I don't deserve to make half the time because of this ability. Next, I would run either All-Star Sponge or All-Star Dialed In. I'm going to be running Dialed In early on this year. It's a new ability, and I like the sound of it. Especially at 3v3, you're going to be facing a lot of shots, guys. So if you can start stacking these, it's going to help a lot. And then you want recharge. Again, energy is a huge thing, especially when these guys get in the zone and they just do not leave. You want to run recharge. Just have some recharge on you, because you're going to need it. Because these guys will just rag the puck and take shot after shot after shot, and your whole line's going to be burnt, and your dude's going to be flailing all over the place. Run recharge. Alright guys, that's going to do it today. Hopefully you learned something. You can use these tips in the build in EASHL or the new and revamped Be a Pro career. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and thank you for watching.